Jimmy K here, Metal Voice. Look at this. The Metal Voice shirts are now on sale. Just go to the video description to find out on how you can purchase one. Metal! Welcome to the Metal Voice. Today on the show, what are we reviewing
Everybody.
Queensryche. New album, The Verdict. Wow, here we go. March 1st on Century Media, it will be released. And we have the pleasure of listening to the album beforehand.
Oh.
So, I mean, right off the bat, album, I'm going to tell you my initial
you
thoughts.
Go first, yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you. The first time I played it, I thought, you know, it's okay. You know, they've now with Todd LaTorre, which I think is a phenomenal singer.
Unbelievable.
First album, second album, this is the third album. I find that I don't know. I liked it, but I didn't love it. So I listened to it, and I listened to it, and I listened to it, and I found that time, I grew to like it even more. It's a grower, in other words. It's a real grower, this album. And the melodies...
You know, there's something to be said, Jim, that, you know, we get so many stuff that we have to review.
Yeah.
You know, first impressions count for some stuff, you know? I mean, again, some stuff is grower. I've got tons of albums that I said, it's okay, and it turned out that it's one of my top 10 after two or three listens.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes it should hit you right off the first listen that it's something that's amazing, you know what I mean? I'm just throwing that out there.
I think of Rush, okay? And Rush is one of my favorite bands, and a lot of the albums that I put on for the first time, I was like,
well, Clockwork Angels. I mean, if you go back and watch that episode, I'm like, and now you say, well, that's quite the album to go out on. If you're going to go out on an album, that's the one you want to go out on.
So there's something to be said about an album that's a grower. You know, it stands the test of time. Yeah. Okay, let me ask you this question. From the first three albums the last three albums with Todd LaTorre, do you find this is better or worse?
I think this is the one that I would go back and listen to repeatedly.
Yeah.
So, and again, when I saw them open for the Scorpions, like I said at the time, you know, now I understand what Todd LaTorre is, why they went and got him, right? I mean, this is back to the classic Queensryche sound, but saying that. And Todd LaTorre is one of my favorite interviews we've ever done on the show.
2-hour interview. Super
nice guy. And we're not taking anything away from him, but it's just, I don't know, it's like a Ripper Owen situation with Priest. It's how much of the old sound you want to keep, but you also lose part of Todd LaTorre as a singer.
I kind of find on this album, opposed to the first two with him, the first two remind me more of the older Queensryche, right? Okay. But on this album, I think they're breaking away. I even told Todd this, I feel like it's a new chapter. It's just a new band. They're finally getting the groove.
It's starting to feel that way, yes. And it's the little things that he does that leans towards the Jeff than being more of himself. Now, I don't know if there's a producer or that's the Queensryche sound that they're going after, to go back to the historic sound. Yeah. But I'm saying here's an opportunity to do something different. And again, I didn't want to have this conversation.
I think what it is, if he does something completely different.
There are moments in the album that is completely different.
And that's why I say this, for me it's a little bit different. I get it. There's hints of Jeff there, and there always will be. Because if there isn't, the fans will be outraged.
No, I'm not sure about that.
I don't know.
I would rather hear a Todd LaTorre album.
Yeah, I would agree with you, and I think this is the first step towards that.
Okay.
The new chapter.
I hear what you're saying.
And I think the band is getting a groove. And now there's something else here. Scott's no longer the drummer of the band. Now Todd LaTorre is handling all the drum duties on this. Did you notice?
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I noticed
Todd
there was
LaTorre did all the drums.
A different drum sound, a different drum style. But again, I thought it was part of the whole package. So Scott did not play drums. Is he part of the band?
It's been confirmed. Scott did not play the drums. So Todd LaTorre,
who is a very capable drummer.
A very capable drummer, and actually he does a great job. I wouldn't even have known it wasn't Scott on the album. So,
and it goes back. Elements of that goes back. You know, we're talking about the classic sound. You know, when I saw Todd sing Queen of the Reich live, you're like, oh, okay, wow, it hasn't been something like that in a long time, and that's what they're trying to go for, and we don't want to rehash all that stuff. But there's elements of this that I think are from some of the albums that you find weaker in the catalog, like American Soldier, and some of the ones later cataloged with Jeff, that I see a little bit of elements in here. So I'm anxious to see who did a lot of the writing.
Yeah.
But if you say Scott's not part of the band, then, you know.
It's Todd who's doing all the drums. That's confirmed, 100%. Yeah. The writing is basically a band effort from what he told me. So everyone's getting a little bit in there, okay? You have Parker who's getting writing. You got Michael Wilton. You know, Eddie's doing it, and so is Todd. So everyone's kind of mixing it up, and it's a band effort.
Hey, this is David Ellison here.
Frank Bello.
We are from, obviously, Megadeth and Anthrax, also Altitudes and Attitude, and we want to introduce our new coffee from Ellison Coffee Company, our signature roast, Altitudes and Attitude, a fine Indonesian light espresso roast. Pick it up, EllisonCoffeeCo.com.
Very well said.
Oh, wait a second, we forgot something. A proud sponsor of the Metal Boys.
Exactly what he said.
I was thinking about this while I was listening to it. The name of the band's Queensryche. We know their back catalog. They always reached out and did something different on every album I found, trying to do, and now they're trying to get back to what, you know, do you go too far? And then who are you, Queensryche in name only? Or you try to stay true and tweak it? So it's a hard fit for them. I mean, they're writing the music that they want to write, I would imagine. Yeah. But at the same time, I see elements of some stuff that's fairly new, some stuff you see in the later catalog, and it keeps the classic sound. I just wish, you know, somebody will let Todd do his own thing and not sound.
You know what? This is called, in my opinion, a transition album.
Okay.
This is somewhere a hybrid between the old sound of Queensryche and Todd La Torre sort of version of it. And I think the next album will definitely be a lot more, I don't know what the right word is, but a lot more in that
defining.
sense. Defining, yes. And that's probably the right word.
And you got, you know, the Dark Reverie is an unbelievable song.
Oh, my Lord. Unbelievable.
Bent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good songs on it. It's a solid album.
It's a solid album. Blood of the Levant.
Does it have that standout track for you?
You know what, I would say Propaganda Fashion to me is like the big song, and the melodic, it's catchy, it's got a little bit of the old of the band that we know, and it's got a little bit of the new, and that's where I call it a transition or a hybrid song. It's very melodic. Dark Reveries, I don't think Jeff would do a song like that. That's what I'm getting at.
Oh no, okay, I see what you mean, yeah.
And when you look at Portrait, you know, this is like a really slow, eerie track. Maybe Jeff would do something like that, but Bent, I think that's another cool song.
Again, the goal, I wanted to get away from comparing. I wanted to base this album on the Queensryche, since they own the name.
Yeah.
You understand? This is the Queensryche. And again, I'm saying,
at the end of the day, there is a stamp, right? There's a stamp, and there's got to be some percentage of it has to have the tone of that era, right? Or the whole legacy of the band. And I think mission accomplished. They have a little bit of the new, and they have the legacy of the old. And yeah, there are little, I don't know, what do you want to call it, snippets of the old. But I think
but that's okay.
That's okay too.
Yes, that's okay.
How about Light Years? Light Years is another great track. Another melodic, and I call it part of the new Queensryche. That's what I would say. You know, with Todd. Inside Out, like you said, is a great, and Man the Machine, which was released as a single. I think that's another stellar track. Again, for me, somewhere between Rage for Order and Condition Human, minus, you know, sort of like the funky little sounds that they had, the sound effects on Rage for Order. That's kind of where it stands for me. And I think this is a damn solid album. I think the fans that love the Todd La Torre version of the band will love this album. They will think probably this is the best one of those three. And the people and the Queensryche fans of old and new will definitely like this album. And will they get some new fans? I think so. Like you said, in the concert, that's where they're really proving themselves, right, Alan?
Yeah. I mean, amazing voice. Yeah. And now he's doing the drumming too.
He's not going to be playing drums.
Well, it'll be interesting.
I mean, he can do that, but he won't be doing it. And there you have it. So I would definitely give this a strong, like 8 out of 10, maybe even higher.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 sounds good to me.
Yeah, a very solid album. Definitely go pick it up. Century Media, going to be released on March 1st.